So let's talk about what's going on in our world right now. A lot is going on, but I want to talk about AI and AI for women, over 40s. Uh, if you're in your 50s, 60s, 70s, let's have the talk about AI and what's going on with it. And I also want to share my experience. So welcome, my name is Janet. And if you're new here, this is the Second Act Collective. And today we are talking about AI. I am an AI consultant. It's not something I probably talk about a lot on this channel, but I just want to address this because I have talked to a lot of my friends and people that I know about AI and the fear that comes with it. And I, I guess it breaks my heart because I feel like we can be stuck in fear and then miss opportunities or feel left behind because we are, stuck in fear about something that we are not very sure of or totally understand. So let me just start by saying learning AI in your midlife is not too late. I started learning AI about 2 years ago. And I started with just dabbling in it like everybody else. I mean, before then I was, whatever. But I just started like everybody else, ChatGTP, trying different things, using it as my Google search, whatever. Um, but you're not too late. If you're in your 40s or 50s or 60s or 70s, you're not too late. It is not a tech for just young people. It is really the reality that we're going to be living with. And again, like the internet, there is no escaping it. I think this is the new reality that is going on. So we don't want to go in with the mindset that, oh, I'm too late. I'm never going to catch up. Yes, it changes every week. There's something new every week happening with it. But a lot of that stuff really, unless if you're a developer, unless if you're developing apps or you're trying to buy the tech company, whatever, they're not for us everyday people. So we want to use it for what it can do for us in our everyday lives and not, be overwhelmed with all the information coming out about AI and the new tool that is out there that has been developed by someone that week. So you are not, too old. AI is very intuitive. It's really like any software. It's a software. It's like any app. It's just very intuitive, and you're still gonna use your experience. You're gonna use your judgment. You're gonna use your wisdom, and you are not really learning to code with AI. That's, I guess, the greatest gift that AI gives us is that we don't have to learn to code. So we shouldn't go around comparing ourselves. And I did this too before, so I know with the 25-year-olds and what they can do and what they're doing. We just have to figure out how can we use this new technology that is coming in, because we are not going to have much of a choice. It's going to be in our lives. It's already in our lives in a lot of things. A lot of things we use every day is using AI. So what is AI actually? Like, what is it? And in its very simple form, AI is just, it's a software. It is a tool, a software that is trained on a whole lot of information, a lot of information. And what it does is just recognizes patterns and predicts likely responses, right? So if you were to put in AI that Mary had, right, the usual response is that Mary had a little lamb. And so because of the information that was fed into it, it can kind of recognize that if I say Mary had, the next likely thing is that had a little lamb is the next thing. So when you start to understand that this is a software that recognizes patterns and predicts responses, that's really the bottom line of what AI is. It is a software, it is a tool. It does not think, it does not reason, it is not a human at all. I mean, they are trying to make them very smart, like smarter than us in terms of the knowledge that it's going to have because of the massive load of information and data that is being fed to these softwares that which and we're going to go into it, which these large language models, they're feeding them so much information from all over the world, from the past, the history, all the stuff that has happened. They are kind of smart in terms of they know stuff that we cannot contain in our heads, but they don't have the human reasoning. They do not have, they're not humans, honestly, at the end of the day. So they don't think, they don't reason. They simply pull out data based on what they were given, what they were fed, they spit out what they were fed. So things like ChatGPT, which we all use, probably this time, a lot of us are using it. It's just a language prediction model, right? So what it does, it predicts the next text, the next word that it based on probability, but not on understanding. So it juggles, it shuffles through the information it has, and then it tells you what it thinks will be the next thing that you'd want from whatever you have asked it, whatever you have prompted, which is what you've asked it. So AI is more like a thinking partner, an idea organizer, a drafting email, letter, whatever assistant, a research tool really helps you to get clarity. It is a tool. And I keep emphasizing the word tool because a lot of the fear that people have about AI is because they think that it's like a human and it understands and it does. It doesn't. It doesn't. It is a brilliant tool. It's crazy how impressive it is, but it's still a tool. At the end of the day, you're still going to have to make, you know, the decisions. You still have to use your wisdom. You still have to use it very responsibly. But it is really is a tool. You can write the email, help you write an email, help you get a recipe, right? It can help with so many things. But just always remembering that AI is a tool. So what's AI is not. So I was telling you about what it is. And this is for all of us in this second act that we're in. I love to talk about this thing because this is part of my life too. And I'm very heavily involved in the AI and AI community and stuff. And I love it. But what is AI not? What is it not? So that there's no fear. So if you have any fear in your head about this, we can kind of clear some of the fears. It does not replace human judgment. It is not human. It is smart because it has a lot of information. Just imagine yourself, if you had that information of all the history, of all the books, if someone fed you all the books and you could remember all that, you'd be very, very smart. But none of our, we can contain the things in our brains. Our brains have so much stuff in them, so many memories. But the problem is we can't like articulate those things or just spit out at any moment. That is really the difference between AI and us. Well, there's a big difference, but in terms of the knowledge base that we have. And so we have a brain that has a lot of information from a lot of things we've learned, but we tend not to remember it and just say it whenever it's needed. And AI has a lot of information that is put in it, and it tends to, it's able to just spit out anything that you ask it. And AI does not have a conscience, right? It doesn't think, it doesn't decide, it does not have any moral compass whatsoever. They have to put that in there. This is why you see a lot of AI companies getting, I think Greco was the one in trouble a few weeks ago because of the kind of things, kids, things that were pictures that were not appropriate for children. It's because it has no moral compass. It has to be trained so that it produces the things that are actually good. Otherwise, it has no moral compass at all because it is a tool, it's a software, it doesn't think. It has no conscience to say what is right or wrong. It doesn't know what is right or wrong. So it also is not, it's not a money machine. It's not going to make money for you. You can use it to make money. You can use it to start businesses. You can use it for a lot of things, but it's not a money machine. It is not a magic solution to your problems. It can help you think through things, but you do have to make the final decision. You do have to use your wisdom and do the right thing. It is not a threat to you. So what this tool does is increase your relevance. It increases your leverage, but it does not remove your relevance because no matter how advanced a tool gets, it's always going to need humans. No matter how they advance with this, no matter how smart it gets, it does need someone to input the information in it. And this is why it consumes so much energy too, because they're constantly putting, the data centers are constantly getting information and putting it in those things so that they can be up to date with what's going on. So I said it doesn't have feelings, doesn't have a conscience, it does not have opinions, it does not have a conscience. Again, it does not have a conscience. So you know what you're dealing with when you're dealing with it. I've heard stories of people who have, AI boyfriends or girlfriends and emotionally attached to those things because they believe they're talking to someone when you're talking to a software, a computer programmed thing that has no conscience. That's kind of, it can give you what you want to hear. It can say what you want to hear, but it's a computer program. At the end of the day, somebody had to put that information in there. So when you know that going in, I think it reduces the fear that and the hesitation that I do believe women at this age, 40s, 50s, and 60s, we tend to hesitate to deal with AI because we have all these things, these beliefs about it. So why does AI feel so overwhelming to women? And I'm saying this because I feel like men tend to adapt to tech faster than women. And I don't know if it's because of how we are raised, a lot of us, which I believe is changing even in my kids' generation. Girls and boys are exposed to tech a lot. But just looking around, we notice that a lot of the tech companies, they are, it's the men who start them. Very few are founded by women. A lot of them are founded by men. And I know this is changing, so don't put stuff in my comments about this. I'm very aware that it's changing, but historically, it's been the men who started the tech companies. It's been more of the men has done the computer software engineering and science degrees in terms of computers more than women. So I think this is why there's that dynamics of why women feel like they can't figure out tech, right? That the younger generation is better at it, and they are. But a lot of times we feel overwhelmed in this second act we are in because, we are not so, what's the word? We are not used to dealing with tech as much. You probably just use it on our phone, Instagram, whatever the things that we do, but we're not heavily into it. We're not early adapters into it. So there's a sense of feeling overwhelmed as women in general. Because of just the fact that you're older, you're in your 40s, 50s, 60s, and you're like, oh, I don't understand this technology. I don't understand what's going on. And the younger people are able to pick it up quickly. That is usually what's happening. So we tend to compare ourselves, of course, with the younger generation who grew up with all this technology, and we kind of feel like, oh, we are so behind, and why bother even learn this thing? Why bother even start, right? Instead of you just need to be familiar with the thing. You're not necessarily looking for mastery. I don't even think anyone can really master AI. It is so evolving so fast. So it's not a matter of mastering it. It's a matter of, being familiar with it, being confident using it, and using it for so that it can benefit you in your life. That's really what we're looking for. And then there are all these opportunities. There are really opportunities in the second chapters of our lives. There are, I think, opportunities for AI where it can give you leverage, right? You're able to do more than you can do without it a lot of times. And I think in my other video, that's I'll link here, there is, we're talking about the fact that I was able to do a whole career path thing, kind of like a mastermind session with my daughter to figure out what she wanted, what's, the life that she wants to live, the family that she wants to have, the lifestyle that she wants, traveling, the amount of money, salary that she would like to make, and then her interest, which was biology, biochemistry, and being a lawyer, all those things, juggling all that, putting it all together to come up with like, what is the career path? What is the career that she can do? What are the options? What business can she start? Like looking at all that, AI was very helpful in something that, we've been talking about for months. And it seems very unrelated And because the interest seems to be unrelated and like almost competing, like, oh, if you want that, you can really have that. If by being able to put that in ChatGPT and Perplexity and working through it and giving different prompts, we're able to come up with something of what she can do, even the colleges she can go to. So if you're interested in learning more about that, I do talk about it. 1, 2, 3. So if you're interested in learning more about that, is if you're a parent, you have kids who are going into college and interested in learning more about the process that I used to help with the college prep and career path prep for my daughter, go ahead in the comments, go ahead and just say college prep so that I know, and maybe I'll create a workshop or something, or reach out to you guys and let you know. But if you're interested, let me know down there in the comments about this. But I thought it was, at least for me, it was very useful. And I like to use AI in real life situations for the things that I work on, because that's what it's there for, right? So what other opportunities we have in this second act with AI is that it can help you with business planning, especially if you're starting a new business or thinking of starting a new business. It can help you. I mean, it can help you in content creation, in using, ChatGPT, Claude, whichever one you want to use to help you with your content creation if you're doing stuff online. It can help you with skill building, right? Just learning a different skill. This is, the wonders of AI is the fact that you can literally learn anything. And so if you're transitioning different careers, transitioning from one business to the other, AI can help you with creative projects. So something that I actually try when I'm painting is that, sometimes I look at a paint, I'm like, I like that color, but I don't know what color what did they combine to make that color? And I can take the picture and ask AI, like, what are the color combination that gives me that color that I see in that painting? And it can kind of, help you figure out the color painting. So it's very useful in different things. In cooking, when I cook, and I use it in a lot of things, in writing emails, again, you can watch the video that I talk a little bit more about AI it'll be linked in the description. But it can be very helpful, especially at this age when we're transitioning into different things, when we're trying to start something new, when you might have a lot of ideas of what you can do, and putting that in ChatGPT and talking to it about it, and kind of helps you to clarify things, your thoughts, and kind of, help you in, okay, what are the things that should just be a hobby sometimes, or maybe that can make you money, or how can you use it to make money? So it helps in that way. It becomes a partner that you use as you're thinking through things. So how do you start learning AI without feeling overwhelmed? Right? I would say the best thing is to pick one tool. This is the advice I give a lot of people. Just use one tool. If you're, like me, I'm an AI consultant, so I try to use a lot of them. And I'm always juggling between different ones for different things. But that's part of what I do for my business. But for just everyday use, just pick one tool that you think you're going to be comfortable with, and get familiar with it, get to know it, get to understand it. And the more you use it, the more you actually learn about it. So you can just choose like ChatGPT and go all in that, and try to understand that and try to use that daily. And I would say if you start using AI, maybe even 15 minutes a day, you see such a big change that will happen to your understanding of AI. And also the fear and the overwhelm kind of gets to just dissipate, because you're using it a lot. And you are not looking to have the perfect prompt. You're not, taking prompt engineering here. So for me, I've taken a lot of courses in AI, and I'm still taking a lot of courses, right, in AI. You name it, I'm doing it, whatever, I'm doing it. But again, it's for a different purpose than somebody who's just trying to use it for their day to day. So you're not trying to have the perfect prompts to create the perfect whatever. You just talk to it and see, put in the questions, put in the, and just talk to it and see what you get out. And you start to refine things. The thing is, the first answer you get from AI is not always like the answer. And then a lot of times, sometimes it can hallucinate. It can give you information that is not real data. So you might want to tell, and I tell when I work with AI, you have to tell it like, I want real data based on real information and not your, predictive whatever answers, because it can hallucinate on you. So you just, prompt and talk to it until you kind of get the answer that you want. And the more you do this, the more confident you get in AI, the more you play with the tools daily, excuse me, the more you become, good at it. And remember, it's not like a course, right? You're not taking a course. It's just not theory. It is also you just using it. And like I said, if you're using it 15, 20 minutes a day, you really get to be where you're comfortable with it. So I have a friend who's like 79 years old, and she's fascinated with AI. And I find it very cute because she keeps saying, I'm so old. I'm the only old person I know who likes AI. I don't know why my friends don't like it. It's funny. So I've worked with her. I've helped her, set up her AI so that it understands her, so that it can really kind of tailor the answers to her instead of like the vague AI stuff. So I've worked with her and tried to help her to get it to where it's responding the right way. But it's just fascinating because I'm like, she's 79 years old and she's like very excited about AI. And then you have people who are like 40 years old who are terrified of AI, which, it's life, but it's very interesting. And then you also need the right mindset in learning AI. And the mindset is curiosity, right? And this channel is also about curiosity. I feel like my life is about curiosity. I love to learn new things. I like to discover new things. You have to have that mindset of curiosity when you're exploring AI. This will help you not get overwhelmed. This will help you actually learn it faster and learn it better. And, there's also has to be that consistency, right? That you're doing this consistently. And the more you progress, we are not trying to be experts. We're not trying to be whatever in AI. We are simply trying to use it to be functional in our lives. Is a tool that we're going to be using a lot in the coming years. So we want to be, consistent. We're not trying to spend an hour, 2 hours a day in AI, especially when you're just starting and you're really trying to use it for your everyday. You want to just be consistent in small batches of time in a day and grow the muscle of getting used to talking to it, knowing when it's not doing the right thing, knowing when it's not giving you the right answers, and working with it until you get it to where it's a partner in your thinking, it's a partner in the things that you do. Right? So AI, in terms of supporting you as a business or in your career transitions, right? Again, I think I touched on this. It can help you kind of clean up your resume, cover letters. If you're looking for a job, you can brainstorm with it for business ideas. And now with all the information that is online and all the new AI stuff that is coming out, you can really use it to figure out, okay, what is an idea that might actually, be profitable in terms of business? How do you pivot to what industry? All this stuff that you can learn, right? It helps you to organize your thoughts. I think this for me has been the game changers. Like I can just talk to it and say all the things that I'm thinking. And it kind of then brings it back, organized and kind of makes sense. Because sometimes there's so much, you know, things in your head. Like you have so many ideas in your head. And again, they might sound very unrelated or you're like, all over the place. But when you put that on paper, you put that into ChatGPT, it really helps you to organize those things. And what it also does, I think one of the best thing in careers and business, especially if you're in business and you're trying new products, it can help you kind of test the product quickly. It's especially about about like software stuff. You're able to test your idea, right? So I have this idea of building an app for myself, for parents, to help with college planning and all that is involved with it. And I'm able to put that into Lovable to design the app. I'm able to test it. And right now we're in the testing stages with my daughter to see if it's something that is even feasible. Is it something that is even viable? So you're able to test ideas without spending the money, a lot of money on it, without a lot of time. And you can test things out and figure out if they're going to be, you know, the thing that you want to build before you commit, thousands and thousands of dollars like we used to do back in the day. And then there's, of course, the ethical and personal side of AI. And you have to, you being the human, you have to use AI responsibly, and that is your responsibility. It should not replace your judgment. It should not make decisions for you. What it does, it gives you options, then you can decide. But you have to know that AI needs human oversight all the time. It needs human oversight. It can make suggestions, but you get to decide. And also, if you are doing things, of course, you want to make sure that you're transparent, that you're using AI on stuff. You don't want to write a document and then later find out that it's not. You can use AI to, again, polish your ideas, restructure them, make them more clear and stuff like that. But we in using AI, just, we have to remain the human with the discernment, with the wisdom, with the judgments, and use AI as a tool. And then what is the long-term view of this, of AI, is that it is, I don't think AI, excuse me, I don't think it's a trend. With the amount of involvement I'm in and what I know right now, I believe this is like an infrastructure. It is like the internet, and I think it's going to replace a lot of things in our lives. And we're going to be using it more and more. Of course, it's not where it's supposed to be. And it's probably going to take a number of years before it's where it's supposed to be. But it's functional now. It's usable. It is a tool that is pretty good right now. But we are probably coming to a place in a number of years from now that we'll be like, oh, how did we live our lives without this? Like we do the internet. Like you can't imagine life without internet. And for people in our age group, late 40s, 50s, 60s, there was a time we didn't have internet. We didn't grow up with the internet. So I think that's what's going to happen with AI. That is just going to be a new reality. And instead of us being, especially women, being afraid and not wanting to engage with it, I would say you want to engage with it. You want to, to get into it, to understand it now, because it is evolving very fast. It's easy to feel left behind and then just like, oh, I give up. But if we're going to be using this in our day-to-day, in our businesses, in our careers, in our lives, you want to try to, start now. You want to try to understand it. You want to start to be comfortable with it, to where you're using it daily and you're getting yourself very comfortable. And I just want to, before I finish, my encouragement to those who are beginning, you might be in your 40s, 50s, and 60s, and maybe you've been hesitant with AI, maybe you've been, on the sidelines. My encouragement to you is that you're not behind, you're not too old, you're not incapable of learning this new technology. And everybody who's an expert, for me to be where I am, to understand AI the way I do, which is not, compared to what's out there, I am nowhere near that, right? But I'm definitely better than where I was 2 years ago, because I started to be serious with it. I started to learn. I started taking classes. I started to use it. So, the more you use it, the more you're going to move away from being a beginner to being someone who totally understands it. And that's my encouragement to you. Just start playing around it. Just start Even if you watch a video, 30 minutes video on YouTube about how to do this with it, do those kind of things and kind of educate yourself so that you don't feel left behind and so that you are not left behind with this technology as it is really disrupting our lives and being part of our lives in a good and bad way. But when I use it is for the good. So that is my encouragement to you as a woman, that so that you don't feel left behind, so that you are not, a lot of people are like, you'll be replaced, you'll be replaced. I think there are some jobs that will be replaced, but if you are able to use AI, you're not going to get replaced. So that will be my encouragement. And if you're interested in learning more about AI, again, let me know in the comments. And it's something that I'll see what I can do. And if you're new here, please subscribe. If you have not subscribed and you're watching me, please subscribe. That'll be very helpful. And I will see you next time. I look forward to seeing you next time.